Then join Pastor Jerry and Brother John Peksoy on the program Desperate for God. Up next, here on Cool 97.5.
Cool 97.5. Cool.
Are you in pursuit of God in your life? Then join us in this program Desperate for God. Every Tuesday and Saturday from 8:30 to 9 p.m. Hosted by Pastor Jerry Peksoy. Only here on Cool 97.5.
Good evening, saints, and welcome to Desperate for God, which airs every Tuesday and Saturday from 8:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. And again, I'm so blessed to be here. I'm so glad for this opportunity that I would be sharing with you guys, fellowshipping with you by hearing and studying the Word. You know, it's always great to be here, and again, I take this as a very big blessing and opportunity to serve God. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been supporting this program, everyone who have been viewing, everyone who has been commenting, everyone who has been listening, maybe through the live stream and also through the radio. And if you're one of those people, thank you very much and God bless you. You guys are one of the reasons why we have reached a global status. I mean, what do I mean by that? We have viewers from all around the world. We are not only being watched here in the Philippines, but also we have viewers from here in Asia, Southeast Asia, also in East Asia. We have viewers from the Middle East. We even have viewers in America and Australia. We are all around the world, and that wouldn't happen without you guys. So thank you very much. Continue supporting this program, and I would highly encourage you, if you're one of those people who have just started watching our program, like the page Cool 97.5 in Facebook. So you could search it in your Facebook search bar, Cool 97.5, and after that, like the page so that you would get notifications whenever a video is uploaded. And also, we have a lot of programs in Cool 97.5, not just Desperate for God, which may also suit your interest. So get on with us, come join us, like the page so that we may be able to reach more people, not only here in the Philippines, but also around the world. So again, thank you very much. And also, my dad is not here yet because he's in Hong Kong. So Dad, if you're listening right now, God bless you there. We are praying for you. We miss you here in Baguio City. Yeah, so God bless you there. And as we all know, very hot news is the coronavirus, you know. Let's continue praying for each other, for our safety. Let's keep ourselves clean, wash our hands before we eat. Let's wash our hands or apply alcohol or hand sanitizers as often as we can. And let's stop touching things that look dirty. So if you have fences, street fences, or in the overpass, quit holding onto the fences unless you really need to. Be very careful. Avoid crowds, they say. And here in Baguio City, they have actually canceled the major event, the Panagbunga opening, though they continued with it actually with a sized down, or what do you call this? A smaller kind of opening for Panagbunga. And also Karaa is suspended. So it's on high alert really. This virus is causing a high alert, so let's all be careful, especially the people who are overseas. Please be careful, be cautious. take care of yourselves. We are praying for you here in the Philippines. So, yeah, 2020 start has been pretty rough. A lot of disasters happening. Australian bushfires, and we have the Taal eruption. Then we have the virus, the outbreak. So, let's continue praying. We're in the end times now. They say we're in the end game, say in Avengers. So, yeah. Before we start this program, personally has been a blessing to me. It has built me up as a person of faith. And again, thank you very much if you have been supporting this program. This just means a lot to me. So if you have any questions or you want to shout out, just comment, and we would be giving a shout out to you. So comment during the live stream. So you could, if you could also host a watch party, that would be good also. So let's get started. Tonight we're going to talk about a topic which has been already, probably you have heard already, a topic which a lot of preachers actually touch. A lot of preachers actually use it as their topics already. But tonight we'd be studying the life of David. Not really the whole life, but how he started and how he became consistent, as a man after God's own heart. So, tonight we're going to talk about living victoriously. Living victoriously. Or we could say living like a winner, living as a winner. So, let's go to 1 Samuel 17. And I highly advise you, if you have your notebook with you or your Bible with you, follow through the verses. And if you have a point, or if you have heard a point, just take down notes. It might come very handy in the future. So, 1 Samuel 17. Thank you very much for watching, Dad from Hong Kong, and also Auntie Caroline, also from Hong Kong. God bless you all. So, David and Goliath. Now, the Philistines gathered their forces for war and assembled at Soko in Judah. They pitched camp at Ephes Damim, between Soko and Azekah. Saul and the Israelites assembled and camped in the valley of Elah and drew up their battle line to meet the Philistines. The Philistines occupied one hill and the Israelites another, with the valley between them. A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. He was 6 cubits and a span. So 6 cubits is about 9 feet 9 inches, or about 3 meters. He had a bronze helmet on his head and wore a coat of scale armor of bronze weighing 5,000 shekels. On his legs he wore bronze greaves, and a brown javelin was slung on his back. His spear shaft was like a weaver's rod, and his iron point weighed 600 shekels. His shield bearer went ahead of him. Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, "Why do you come out and line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine? And are you not the servants of Saul? Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us." Then the Philistines said, "This day I defy the armies of Israel. Give me a man and let us fight each other." On hearing the Philistines' words, Saul and all the Israelites were dismayed and terrified. Now, David was the son of an Ephrathite named Jesse, who was from Bethlehem in Judah. Jesse had 8 sons, and in Saul's time he was very old. Jesse's 3 oldest sons had followed Saul to the war. The firstborn was Eliab, the second Abinadab, and the third Shammah. David was the youngest. The 3 oldest followed Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul to tend his father's sheep at Bethlehem. For 40 days the Philistines came forward every morning and evening and took his stands. Now Jesse said to his son David, "Take this ephah of roasted grain, these 10 loaves of bread for your brothers, and hurry to their camp." Number one point that we could observe here is that David was faithful to where God has placed him. At that moment, David was meant to be a shepherd. And actually, Samuel already anointed David before this happened. He was already anointed as king. However, he did not rush the process. Now, living victoriously means taking note that there would be a process, and that we must be faithful wherever God has placed us. And if God has placed you somewhere, maybe in the sound system, maybe you're in the media, and your heart is desiring to be a worship leader, to be a pastor or a preacher, don't rush things. Be faithful to where God has placed you. God has placed you in that place for a reason. And that's why you need to be faithful and do your best. David was a shepherd boy, and that's where God has placed him at his time. And he was faithful with his job as a shepherd. And at the same time, if we want to live victoriously, let us be faithful to where God has placed us. Because God has placed us in that place somewhere because He has a reason for it. And we don't really need to know why He has placed it there. All we have to do is to obey and be faithful to where the place God has put you. So there you have it. So wherever you are right now, you might be feeling, feeling discouraged because your life is probably monotonous, or you're thinking that you could do a lot more. But if God has put you in that place, do it faithfully, and God would do the rest. So that's number one. Number two, we must be alert for the opportunity God shows us. So Jesse said to his son David, "Take this ephah of roasted grain and these 10 loaves of bread to your brother and hurry to your camp, and along 10 cheeses to the commander of their unit." So see how your brothers are and bring back some assurance from them. So he went. Thank you for watching, Lola Robert. You've been a great encouragement, really. Thank you very much. So early in the morning, David left the flock in the care of a shepherd, loaded up and set out as Jesse had directed. And he went there to where the battle was about to happen. So as he was talking to his brothers, Goliath, the Philistine champion from Gath, stepped out and from his usual lines shouted his usual defiance, and David heard it. So whenever the Israelites saw the man, they all fled from him in great fear. So the Israelites were saying, "Do you see how this man keeps coming out? He comes out to defy Israel. The king will give great wealth to the man who kills him. He will also give his daughter in marriage and will exempt his family from taxes in Israel." So David asked the man standing near him, "What will be done to the man who kills this Philistine and remove this disgrace from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" So they repeated to him all the rewards. Alright, and here we see how David was alert for the opportunity that God has shown him. God was already fixing things to his rise. He didn't need to rush things. He didn't need to go straight to the palace. All he did was be faithful. Be faithful and obey what God says. Obey what his father says. So he followed. And here he saw an opportunity. David knew it was his moment when Goliath taunted the Israelites. And that the same thing for us would happen sometimes. That we should be alert for the opportunity that God is showing us. No matter how small that thing is, God will be using it. Sometimes we only want to work when things are going to be big, and we know that it's going to be like, oh, something big is going to happen, an event is happening, I should do this and that. And sometimes you don't do basic things like your mother asking you to wash the dishes. So, we must be alert for the opportunities that God shows us. Because sometimes this might be a pivotal moment. And what do we mean by pivot? It means it might be a change of direction, a change in movement, a change in your destiny, they say. A change from the status quo. Those are pivotal moments. Those small things that we don't realize. When playing basketball, we have pivotal moments. When we want to change direction, when they have passed the ball, we want to change direction. We have the triple threat position, where you could shoot, you could pass, or you could drive. And we have pivotal moments. When we are from this place, we could move here. It doesn't take big movement. It's just a pivot, but it means a lot. And at the same time, we must be alert for these opportunities. That whenever God would show us an opportunity, we would be alert. Because sometimes we miss a lot. We're like, no, that's not for me. I know my capability. That's too small for my abilities. And sadly, there are some Christians like that. And I hope you're not like that. So that's number 2. We must be alert for the opportunity God shows us. So, after this, when Eliab, David's older brother, heard him speaking with the man, he burned with anger and asked, "Why have you come down here?" And blah, 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 blah. You see? And he turned away. Thank you very much for watching, Mom. So, here we see that his brother was actually discouraged him. He was despised by his brother. He burned with anger. And actually, even Saul discouraged him. He said here, Saul replied, you are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth. Thank you very much for watching, Sister Nelly. Watching from Winterland. So, thank you very much. I hope you're all doing well there in Canada. Alright, so Saul was discouraging him, saying, "You're too young for this man. This giant has been fighting ever since he was young, and you're too young." But David said to Saul, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God." So, here we see that David was being discouraged. However, David refused to be discouraged. That's the same thing with us. We must refuse to be discouraged. David was despised by his brothers, and Saul discouraged him too. And I'm telling you, if you want to live victoriously, you need to, be on your guard for this discouragement, because they would surely come. And what's sad is they would come from the closest people to you. It was his brothers who despised him, getting angry at him for bringing bread and talking to the man. And someone he could look up to, who is the king of Israel, said, "You're too young." But he refused to be discouraged. And that's the same thing with us. And now, I know I'm young. I haven't been through a lot yet. And this is a lesson for me too, that I must refuse to be discouraged. That I'm not telling you to disregard everything that the people say to you. But if people speak negatively to you, towards what you do, and when they speak curses and words that would discourage you, say, "I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, I know what God wants me to do." That's what you say. We must refuse to be discouraged. This would be a very hard thing to do. Because as humans, we change ourselves with how people say or see us. They're like, you need to change this and that. And we like, yeah, I need to change this and that. But we are defined by what God has defined us. We are defined by what Christ did on the cross. That's what we are. That's who we are. And we must refuse to be discouraged. When people say to you, you can't do that, you're too young. Do not be discouraged. God could use anyone, even the youngest person who is currently listening right now. It might be you. You might be thinking, I'm too young for this. I'm just telling you, no. If God is calling you, do not be discouraged. You might miss an opportunity of a lifetime. And as a young man who is serving God, I face this a lot. Thank you very much for watching, Sister Ren. You know, people who would be saying he's too young, you have a lot of rice to eat yet. And it would really fuel your self-doubt as a person. You'd be like, Lord, have you really called me to do this? Lord, right now I don't know what to do. I'm like, because we are used to getting people's expectation, reaching people's expectation. And we're like, that's what verifies what we do. But I'm telling you, do not be discouraged. It's God who verifies what you do. Look up to God. Thank you very much for watching, Paul. Let's look up to God. A lot of movements, a lot of potentials have been wasted just because they were eaten up by discouragement. So right now you might be a small church leader, or you might be a small youth leader. You might be nameless right now. You might be a musician striving, to let his music be known to the world. You might be a young Christian who has a calling from the Lord to be someone who would be guiding and leading people. You might be leading a small organization right now, or you might be leading a small interchurch, connection right now. I'm telling you, if people are discouraging you, don't listen to them. This would eat you up. Instead, verify yourself by what God tells who you are. If it's God who called you, listen to God. Read the word and see who you really are. Do not be discouraged. Refuse to do that. So that's number 3. We must refuse to be discouraged. Number 4, we must not trust human solution to a problem. So after being discouraged by Saul, he said, yeah, I fought the bears and the lions. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. So Saul said to David, okay, go, and the Lord will be with you. Then Saul dressed David in his own tunic. He put a coat of armor on him and a bronze helmet on his head. David fastened on his sword over the tunic and tried walking around because he was not used to them. I cannot go in this, he said to Saul, because I am not used to them. So he took them off. Alright, so that's number 4. We must not trust human solution to a problem. Saul offered his armor, thinking that it would help David in his battle. And sometimes people would be putting their armors on you. And sometimes people would expect that the way they fix this kind of problem would be the way you would be fixing yours too. Some people would be like, this is how I got saved. This is how you should be saved. Imagine, there are people who would be like Saul, putting their armor on you. And on that process, you would lose your authenticity. You would lose your identity as a person. That different, that uniqueness that you have. And not only that, you put your trust on that human solution already. You would put your trust in the armor instead of God. Be very careful. Be very careful. we must not trust human solution to a problem. I'm not in any way disregarding logic or rational thinking, planning ahead of time, planning your life. I'm not telling this are wrong, but I'm telling you we must not trust human solution. Instead, God, we should trust God. Thank you for watching, Pastor Mary Martes and Sister Hart. Really, I'm telling you, we must not trust human solution to a problem. Instead, let's put our trust in God. Let's put our trust in how He made us, our uniqueness, our trademark. In this world where people are so used to imitation, be like, I do this, I do that because that guy does it. You meet a certain pastor, or you meet a person, a man of God or a woman of God at a conference, you're blown away because it's like, oh, he's so good. And you're like, I copy him, I copy this, I copy his hairstyle, the way he speaks, I copy the way he dresses. I'm telling you, that's not the solution to your problem. If you're finding yourself right now, they would say, try this, he's like this, try this. Go back to the Word, read the Word. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. So that's number 4. We must not trust human solution to a problem. Number 5, we must remember past victories to face the challenges in our lives. When David remembered how he slew the lion and the bear to save his sheep, he probably felt assured. And he confidently said that to Saul. Saul was like, oh, you're too young, you can't do this. This giant has been fighting ever since he was young. But David said, if the God who protected me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear did it before, protected me from them, He could surely protect me from this Philistine. And sometimes it's good to remember these past victories because it reminds us that if God did it before, He could do it again. You might be in a slump right now. You might be feeling down right now. You might be feeling discouraged right now. But I'm telling you, there has been victories in your life. Remember them. Remember how God has worked mightily in your life. Remember the breakthroughs you had before in your life. And remember this, if God did it before, He could do it again. Wait for His timing. Be faithful to where God has placed you. Be alert for these opportunities. Refuse to be discouraged. Don't think that human solutions are going to be the answer to your problem. Remember the past victories. Put your trust in God. See how He has done it before. And I'm sure this would assure you. This would be an assurance to you. So that's number 5. Number 6, we must give all glory to God. So David and Goliath fought, and we all know the story. With his slingshot, he used it to throw the stone at the head of the Philistine, knocked him out, took the sword of the Philistine and chopped his head. But we should remember, we must give all the glory to God. When we have our victory, sometimes, we have this notion that I did it, after the victory, but it's actually God who fought that battle. And just used to. And it's the same thing with us. We need to give God all the glory. Goliath came with his pride, with his, physical capabilities, with his experience as a warrior. He came with intimidation, and the Israelites were intimidated. But David came in the name of God. He didn't go there as a soldier, as a warrior, as a king. He didn't go there. He went there in the name of God. I am but a servant, but it's God who would let me win this battle. It's God. The same thing with us. Whatever battle you're currently fighting right now, whatever challenge you're facing right now, I'm telling you, come in the name of God and see wonders happen. And when you have that victory, say, Lord, it's all yours. Thank you very much for watching, Sister Jamie Kani, Brother Christopherson. Thank you very much for watching. Sister Glory Ramescal, thank you very much for watching. So that's all for tonight. I hope you have picked up lessons that you could use. And sadly, we have a lot of things you could talk about, but it's been 30 minutes. And before I end, again, I would like to remind you to take care of yourselves right now. Please take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, use alcohol or hand sanitizers. They say wear a mask, but if your place isn't infected yet, there's not really a need, much of a need to wear a mask, especially if you're not going out. So yeah, instead be careful in the things that you hold. If you hold something that you might think is dirty, don't put it in your mouth or eyes or nose. Alright, so also, if you're someone who is currently trying to find a church, a Bible-believing church, you're welcome here in All Saints Global Church, Baguio City, ASGC for short. If you don't know how to go there, just ride a jeepney in San Luis Dominican, or you could walk. If you know Hotel Cosmopolitan, just go to Hotel Cosmopolitan. From there you would see a signage that says ASGC or Red Corner Fitness Center. They're in the same place, so if you see it, go straight to it. It is in the basement. We have 3 services: early morning, which starts at 8:30, of the main service, which starts at 10:30, and we have the youth service, which starts at 3 p.m. Again, I would like to give a special shout out to Lyseed, Luzon Interchurch Youth Defenders. God bless you. Again, I would like to testify about how God is great. How His presence was really felt in the last dynamic worship last Sunday. It's awesome. Living Hope Ministries, God bless you. Also shout out to the Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy in St. Louis University. To all listeners who are studying here in Baguio City, shout out to you guys. All the ASGC youth, all the ASGC members, all the Filipino listeners right now, God bless you. You might be listening from Hong Kong, from Japan, from South Korea, from the Middle East, from America, from Canada, from Australia, from Austria, somewhere in Europe, somewhere I didn't mention. If you're currently listening right now, God bless you and thank you very much. Continue tuning in here in Cool 97.5, Desperate for God, which airs every Tuesday and Saturday from 8:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. God bless you and see you on Tuesday.
Continue to seek God's Word in your life and listen to us again next Saturday on this program, Desperate for God, on Cool 97.5. Subscribe, follow, like, and share us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch TV, and Instagram.